Hi everyone and welcome to Think Copilot. My name is Garry Trinder. I'm a developer advocate at Microsoft focusing on Microsoft 365 and I have with me today Waldek.
Hey everybody, my name is Waldek Mastykarz and I am also a dev advocate at Microsoft for Microsoft 365.
Hi everyone, my name is Ejaz. I'm a developer and architect, work for a company called Avania UK, more focused on Microsoft 365 and Azure side.
Fantastic. Thanks for coming on today to chat to us, Ejaz. What we'd like to ask you is how are you using AI and Microsoft Copilots in your day-to-day work?
I think first I would like to mention is, Microsoft Copilot has significantly enhanced the daily workflow of my role as a developer and architect. Not just within one application across all Microsoft 365 suite. So what I love, before I go into like where I use Copilot every day, but I want to say is, it saved me 2 to 3 hours per day. And that is kind of a huge benefit for me. So I can spend more time on, more, nicer things than going through the emails, long chats or documents, and spending so much time on our intranet, finding the information, and probably asking colleagues, can you please help me? Where is the link, etc. Now, not doing anymore, trying to kind of work intelligently with the help of Copilot. So I definitely transformed the way we used to work.
2 to 3 hours a day. Tell more.
I would say, yeah, I think.
Tell more. Like, what kind of prompts do you use? Where does the gain come from?
I think to start with, so because we're doing lots of coding as well every day, so the GitHub Copilot is one aspect where lots of boilerplate, not writing anymore. Myself asking GitHub Copilot to do that for me. Improving the code quality, where you have to think about, okay, is that better, or look for some online, is there any better option which we can achieve this particular block code. Then code completion. If I need to do research, I can just open up the chat in the Visual Studio Code with the Copilot and ask for particular line, could you help me with this one, or in another better way. Like yesterday, I wanted to submit my blog sample to the Teams dev repo, and I wanted to write a nice summary of my sample. So I give some prompts to the GitHub Copilot and some context, and it's just wrote a nice summary for me. So I end up saving like almost literally 10 minutes and 20 minutes there too. And I always used to kind of hate the step of filling the README file at the end. And now I spend literally 20 minutes or 30 minutes to complete the README. So that was really, really quick. So GitHub Copilot is one thing. Emails, quite a lot I do use at emails. So I wrote an email, straight away look at what I wanted to write, and then ask the Copilot, can you please draft it and in a way that I wanted to have it. So give me some more options. So that's really helpful. I don't have to spend like 20 minutes thinking if the context is right, if the tone is right, and etc. So most of the time, 80%, even though I make some changes, but 80% GitHub or 90% GitHub Copilot in the Outlook does get right. And with a few modification, I'm good to go. So saving lots of time there. With the Teams chat, if you talk about the Microsoft 365 chat side of thing, looking for information was a bit pain for me initially. Like, for example, we are a consultancy company, and we have some products as well, and different teams across the company in different countries as well. So and if I need some information, even though we have on the intranet as usual in the past, but okay, where is this policy? How this with some deployment guide for this particular product or some configurations for this. Always either had to ping someone I know, or go and look for SharePoint search if I don't know. And if I manage to find the site which holding all the documents, then okay, the challenge is how do we find within that site. So even though we have a search web parts, but still search APIs, and it was difficult. And writing few prompts and some context like this is wanted to find out. Copilot literally within 2 minutes, within a second, give me this information right in there, and I can quickly go to that. Not just like give you the link to that document, and that's really, really helpful for me.
That is insane to hear, like the variety of different things you use it for.
Yeah.
How did you build the muscle, like to think, to even have the mindfulness of, hey, I have this thing, I have this really powerful thing I can use for all these things? Like, how did you get there?
I think naturally, as a coming from the developer background and love the technology, love to do more and achieve more, and I think that's drived to use anything I can use which can help me a day within my daily workflow to save time, be more intelligent, be more productive. I think that is the drive behind all that. And having the Copilot on my side, I think, is making my life really, really easier. And I don't think so I can go back and say, okay, I'm not going to use the Copilot. And I would never probably see anyone saying that, because I was one of the few people because we are still rolling out the Copilot within our Avania across everywhere. So I was as a part of the pilot programs where we were testing across the Avania. So and the feedback we get from across the business is just amazing. Like how much it help individual, and not just from the developer or architect point of view, project manager and HR, and all the other across sales people. So it's just amazing.
Yeah, I mean, talking about it, you look at the 2 to 3 hours that you're saving a day, right? And you think, wow, that's a lot. When you kind of accumulate all these different tasks that you're doing where Copilot is just kind of enhancing that, things like emails, think of the amount of emails you send during the day as well, to just speed that process up. And I guess, make your communications better as well at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're saving time, you're communicating better because using Copilot to either enhance what you've written or give suggestions as to what you might want to put for certain outcomes. So was there anything that you kind of you started using it, like you obviously, Waldek mentioned, you building this muscle, right? Was there one example that you maybe think of that was like, oh, okay, this is different, like now I'm hooked? Like, have you got one example that you can point at?
Yeah, I think I would give example with the GitHub Copilot. So initially, when it's been introduced within a team, and I wasn't really sure, right? Okay, I know it's a GitHub Copilot. Might be some, we can add a prompt and then it's going to give answers, same as Microsoft Chat Copilot. And I wasn't really into it until I had there was some training going on within our Avania. One of our team is arranged. Okay, this is a GitHub Copilot training. Is it like a session? I said, I'm happy to. I wanted to join. I want to see what it is in. So I joined that session, and I saw how powerful it was. And then I think that blew my mind. And I straight away got my own subscription. I said, I want to get right now. And then as I started using it 1 day, 2 day, and started getting used to it, and now I feel like during the day I'm working in Visual Studio Code, right? Either it's SPFX Web or Teams app. At the same time, then within the same day I'm working in the Visual Studio as well, so in .NET and your function and web app. So the Copilot is helping across all these programming language to me, and that is just amazing. Like, I'm not anymore writing a bad code. I don't remember writing a bad code anymore. So I don't know whether it's a good thing or bad thing. I mean, if I look back in the history, when I was learning, and if I take you back in 2001 and 2002, and I used to so amazed by my teachers when I used to say, okay, they were right. I'm talking about the Visual C++ or some Visual C# or Visual C++, I would say. So they And then my teachers used to write that big, massive commands, and as they were typing in front of the class, and I used to like say, wow, they remember these commands. And I always
Secret
get
is they're doing the same training 5 times a week.
yeah.
And that's the only thing they write ever.
Yes. So, and I was like, and no, and then I said, okay, I wanted to learn the programming, but the problem is, how would I remember all these commands, like the whole language? That would, like, as a student, I used to get amazed. But now, and then when I started learning the programming and doing it, and then I realized, okay, now I know everything, but how about doing it more better, like more professionally, better performance code? Okay, and there used to be things like a pair programming, and someone else is checking as well. If you write a code and we have someone, okay, can you please review this code? It does look, and they come back, okay, you might need to make it 10 more, this tiny, and they might suggest based on what their experience and the style of writing the code. And then, okay, that probably didn't work very well practically. So I think having the Copilot, it enhance your code, make the code look better performance wise, give you some suggestions. But I think the key is you should know what you wanted to achieve with Copilot. That's why I found out you need to give him context. You need to give him something to work on. I mean, we can't expect, I can't expect him to, okay, yeah, he can write the boilerplate, but if this specific problem I'm trying to solve, I have to give him some context, some code snippet, and then ask him, okay, do this specific thing for me. And I think I find this really, really amazing in that context.
Do you have a favorite prompt that you use more than anything else?
Well, I think it depends on the situation and the context. So what I learned recently with we had a little bit training in-house within our company. So what I found was, what I learned from there was I think it's the word called GCS. So it's I don't remember exactly what's the stand at the moment, but what was so GCSC, I think, is, so we have to give a goal of what is the goal we wanted to achieve, and then C is the context. So what's the context? So that's the second thing, and then S was, and then there was a E. So is out of my mind was the E. So there was basically you give a goal, you give the context, and then what you wanted to achieve from there, and that's so you follow this like a prompt guideline. I think that's really helped to get the answer back properly. I know sometimes we really quick wanted to write a line and ask Copilot do something, but I think if you follow that guideline and gives proper context, you get a better answer and better results.
Yeah, I think those are good tips. I know I've seen people who kind of maybe use Copilots in the first instance, and it's very much just kind of like, a single line statement, if you like, and then the response that comes back is maybe not what they were expecting, or it's not accurate. So there is kind of an art there of kind of thinking, well, what do I actually need to achieve? What framework do I want to give the Copilot to work in, right? It's kind of like, here are the boundaries, and things like context is big, right? Especially for like programming languages, right? You could easily make the thing of like, hey, write me this PowerShell script, right? And you get a PowerShell script back.
Yeah.
But that might be Windows PowerShell. What about PowerShell 7? And all these other things and all these little nuances that you maybe don't think of, and writing them in the prompt is actually, you need to provide that context, right, to get better answers. Fantastic. Yeah. So I think we'll find out what the E is. We'll definitely have a look and find out what these frameworks are. Have you just remembered?
I don't remember at the moment. I think, but we recently gone through it. But that was really good tips that we learned from the training. If you give a proper context, and then we did some kind of a prompting. So use the prompting, and then to work on some specific scenario to the Copilot, and it did pretty good job. summarizing thing and brought things back related to the work and in context of the work. So we were in the context of the work. So how can we solve that problem? So he did really pretty good job.
Fantastic, great stuff. I think we've covered quite a lot of the topics today. Fantastic that you've been able to use it not just for code, but also to kind of get your time back during your working day, and that accumulative effect of shaving 10 minutes there, 20 minutes there. Obviously, I really like the example of the readmes as well, because it's kind of like I've written the code, right? That's all I need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I need to explain it, and if your context is your code, and using AI can look at that, use the context, and go, hey, this is what this project is going to do, and I guess it gives you that starting point, right? I mean, I know sometimes it's like, where do I begin?
Yeah. No, definitely, it's saved me time. So I think since with the README, definitely with the summary of, and then probably what are the main features I can list down. So I'm not even thinking too much about, because I know my feature, but I'm just feeding them my thinking to the Copilot and asking him to write some better words for me, and I think it's saving my time, considering my first language is not English. So what I do is I know what I wanted to write, and now I'm writing better with the Copilot.
That is really, really cool. And so one more thing that I want to ask, like, now that you have this ability, this ever-present assistant that you can just ask things at a whim, do you catch yourself asking more things more often, or is it still very much the same? Like, no, I only ask, basically the way I ask is the same way I would ask a colleague, or is it very much changed as like you're asking things just at a whim because you can, because there's no limit to it?
Well, I think what I probably notice is you need to remember the goal you want to achieve, because asking is one thing, but if you know back of your mind, because after using again and again, even if I provide a proper context, and does the Copilot knows about this information which I'm asking him to give me? Does he know does he actually have the access? Does he? So that is the bit which you need to remember. I mean, I know some people might not remember and say Copilot can do everything, but no, it's access he has, and where possible he can look for the information. So if that is something can trigger in your mind, yes, I think let me ask Copilot, it might be a good option, then I would go for. If I'm on the driving seat at the moment, so I'm making decision. If I think Copilot is not going to help, is something, its information is not there, it might be buried in a list item somewhere which Copilot doesn't know that, so I might look for some alternate option to find that. So yeah, you need to know if the Copilot can help or not.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and that's a good point actually to make, is that whilst there are limitations, right? And there's limitations with every software
everything,
product, and you're gonna hit them, but it's knowing that. And I think you made a really good point there of you are in control, right?
Yeah,
you are the human interacting with the AI, but essentially you're still in control. You are, you can verify the information that has been returned as well. So, yes, trust the responses, but also verify that it is correct as well. If there isn't, enough context, like you said, it might be things that are potentially missing there. So, and I think that as you've gone through, have you kind of built that into your kind of mindset of, I kind of know where the good parts are and I know where the limitations are, but I can work around that. Is that what you found?
I think what it has been, for example, if there was one product, in-house product, which we need to go again and again with the and they've recently changed. Let's suppose their team has recently changed the location of the documents, and they've got a new SharePoint site or new tenant now. And okay, ask the Copilot, give me this information, and Copilot gave me the link of noise to documentation, and then I I realized, okay, they've changed the news. They got a new site now. They got new document libraries. And now what I've done is I've got this into my bookmark now. So what I do now, the Copilot helped me once. Now asking the same question when I know where the location is, I can go straight. So it helped me once, and now subsequently I'm more faster going there than asking Copilot. So it's like making decision where you can save time.
Got it. And yeah, it's kind of it's almost like I'm saving time by not using Copilot, but also using Copilot.
Yeah, so Copilot helped me, and then kind of, so you that's how we find where I can save time, how can I work more intelligently. So this is where I think, going back to Waldek question, like this is where I stop the Copilot. Okay, I think I know the information, so I think I should go directly there than asking Copilot again the same prompt.
Yeah, and I mean, it's perfectly fine. Like once you learn that, you know that this person knows something, the next time you will have a question on that, you will go directly to them, as opposed to, no, I'm going to start at the start. I don't know anything. I'm going to start blank, and I'm going to find out only to realize that you end up with the same person. So that makes perfect sense.
Yeah. So, but again, Copilot is brought in more intelligent, and I think that's how I see it. I probably would not use Copilot for small repetitive tasks, but I would use for, okay, could you summarize the emails which come from this client for me, because there's so many emails come every single day, and from the last 1 week, and he's doing really pretty good job over there. Otherwise, me going in the Outlook and scrolling down, okay, and I missed anything. So it can give you summary. Okay, this is the email on this date and with this summary, and that's pretty cool, because I tend to don't check my email every day. I mean, I check every day, but not every time. So people, if there's something urgent, if I'm working something, so people have to knock on my door or ping me on the Teams and say, okay, they need you for this purpose, or there's some meeting going on. Otherwise, I don't check the email regularly, because it just is, so much time consuming. Every 10 minutes you're going and checking the email. So having the Copilot on site, definitely big help.
Yeah, I think from a consultancy point of view, having that ability to just kind of like, summarize this group of emails from this particular customer, that, I can imagine that being such a time saver, because, being a consultant, you work with different clients at different times. It's always a case of you get contacted when you're in another project and you're like, oh.
Exactly. It's like in context is changing every single time. So I've got like at the moment I've got like 5-6 different clients' emails coming through, and also internally emails coming through for different things, all pile up in my inbox. So I can't go click on every single one and check at them unless something is really urgent or something is like deadline. But I can't check. So if I have to go back before, even like if I have a meeting with a client in next half an hour, I go ask the Copilot, give me the last 1 week emails, summarize with me, give me some summary, what's going on, what is happening, and that's pretty cool for me. I can get ready, be prepared before the meeting. I don't have to go look for the emails, etc.
So kind of avoid the, what are we doing again?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So what was the discussion going on between the project managers and the client? And as a developer architect, I will check before the meeting and what was being agreed and what we are going to discuss and etc. with the client.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Ejaz, for coming on today and talking to us, sharing your insights, how you're using Copilot and AI. Again, every time we talk to people, new ideas of things that I'm definitely going to go off and try now. I'm going to definitely use the email summarizer a lot more than I before. It seems to be a common thing that's happening. But all I want to say is thank you again, and to everyone, thanks for listening.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
Thank you, Ejaz. Bye, folks.